Well, here I am in all my glory. That's next. Hi, everybody. How are you? I'm DL. I hope that you're doing magnificent. I have come to the end of the preseason episodes and I'm ready to talk to you. Just me. That's it. Nobody else. Nobody is as important as I, as you all know. I've got a few questions. I'm going to tell you a little bit about what's going to happen this year and go through a little bit of what I've been doing. It's me in all my glory. This is officially my second to last day of vacation, as you can see by the fact that I just basically didn't care about anything for the last 2 weeks. Uh, Tomorrow, I have to clean up a little bit. It's really, really unfortunate. I'm not looking forward to going back to the real world. Maybe I am a little bit. You do go a little stir crazy every now and then, but it's been really fun getting to hang with the kids, listen to a bunch of music, do the holiday thing, drink some eggnog. Still have a little eggnog in the fridge. In retrospect, I probably should have drank that today, but that's not what I'm drinking. We're not there yet. But we do this every year. Let me give you a little bit of a rundown for those of you new. We do have an okay amount of new listeners. I was kind of expecting us to die down when we took our little hiatus, but it looks like we're back growing a little bit. So I'll give you a little bit of a rundown. Basically, we do have a new episode every week. We're going to keep having a new episode of every week. That's never going to change. You're usually going to be pretty, we have themes, we do all that sort of thing, and I'll ask a couple questions earlier about this sort of thing. But what I essentially do is I try to give everybody the month of January off. Now, the month of January is kind of our preseason episodes. I'm putting that in quotes for anybody that doesn't see it. Preseason episodes, where we always do kind of the same things. I do most of it. I make sure that in December, because we're recording usually a month, 2 months in advance, I just want to make sure that we don't have much to do. Rachel and Evil don't really have much of anything to do. I do usually make them do like one episode because I mean like that. And they'll never admit it, but they get lonely without us. So they like to do it. Well, at least Evil does. Maybe Rachel is very happy she gets so much time off. But anyway, this is the last episode of the preseason. We did a reaction video, which I thought was really fun. The audio needs some work, but hey, there's always next year. We did a third annual Spotify Wrapped Awards. I did. And then, what was the other thing? Oh, and I did one of my happy hours because I just love doing those and I'm just going to keep doing those. And then this episode is usually either me talking about what's going to happen in season 6 or we all get together and just talk about nothing. This time, season 6. We've got a lot going forward. We already recorded one episode from season 6, 2 episodes from season 6. And then next weekend, we're recording a couple as well. So we're in the pocket. We're having fun and it's all coming to you. I guess I got plenty that I do want to talk about. I guess we can get to the most important part of the night, eh? What are we drinking? I should say that while I'm doing this, I'm also listening to my Spotify. Yeah, I know. I'm listening to my Spotify my list for 2005. I might talk about some of this. I've got Viagra Boys playing right now. I won't keep going. We've talked about them a lot the last couple of years. They deserve it, but that was my album of the year. And I will say what I am seeing a lot this year is I am seeing a lot of samesies. I usually feel a little bit out of pocket with my top picks. This year, I'm seeing a lot of the stuff that I liked on other people's stuff. I'm seeing a decent amount of Last Dinner Party. I'm seeing a ton of Viagra Boys. I didn't see much of that Tron Ares stuff. That surprises me. I don't know if it's early in the year, if it's a score, people just aren't going to talk about it as much, but that kind of threw me off a little bit. I thought I'd see that around a little more. But, us talking a lot about Wet Leg, us talking a lot about Lux, that sort of stuff was around a lot. I think we're starting to figure out the zeitgeist, maybe for the worst. I don't know. For the worse? Sorry. What am I drinking? Hey, it's been a theme in December for you, January, when you're listening to all these, but I have been the laziest of lazy when it comes to drinks. It's a little bit of gin and a little bit of grapefruit tonic, and that's it. That's all I'm drinking. It is Tanqueray. Tanqueray is 50-50 with people. I think a lot of people love it because of the name, because it had such a big name in the 90s. Nowadays, it's kind of known as a bit of a shit gin. I think it's a good mixer. I enjoy it as a gin mixer. So do without what you will. That's what I'm drinking. That's it. I have a beer with me too. I have a Coors Light. If I run out of drink, I'll drink that drink. And we'll just keep going. Let's talk a little bit about season 6. Let's talk about a little bit about where we're at in the pod. Let's talk a little bit about whatever the hell I want to talk about. How about that, huh? Should I just get to it? We'll take a break. We'll be right back. All right, we're back. How are you? Are you doing well? One of the things that's going to happen in this episode is to end the episode. I did a little pre-recording when Evil and I did our reaction, of the Avett Brothers Patton project. We also recorded about 15 minutes on the Queens of the Stone Age concert that we went to in November. In November, we went to NOLA to record. A little bit of a fiasco. Went well as far as just hanging out. But one of the really cool things that we got to do is go see Queens of the Stone Age in NOLA in a great theater. We talk about that, so I won't go too much into that. But it does bring me to talking. One of the things that I will say that I don't think is a big spoiler, I think I've said it on the pod already, but that might have been the best concert that I will ever go to. It was perfect in a lot of aspects. It was just completely perfect. And it led me to thinking a lot about concerts, to thinking a lot about what's more important, the sound quality, something new, something different. Is it something that you've heard a million times before? So I'll give you a couple of little back and forths here. What made that show great that I'll get into later was the surprise of it. And I'll go into why. I don't want to regurgitate stuff that's going to be at the end of the pod, but it was something new, it was something different. It was something I wasn't expecting. But then I've also, when I think just right off the top of my head, top 5 concerts, I did see Alice in Chains on the Dirt Tour. Well, I was really young. It was one of my first concerts ever, but I mean, come on. That'll make an impression, right? I've talked about it before in the pod. I went and saw Stone Temple Pilots later on in life, old enough to have a few drinks and sing along with everything. It was basically like a greatest hits concert. I've seen Crash Test Dummies in San Diego in a teeny little, it was 3 of them, acoustic. What are the best concerts? Or is it just straight up, man, you go to Seattle and you see Nine Inch Nails and they blow your freaking face back? Which one is the best one? They're all a little special, right? Or there's the openers, right? What about the times where you go to see the concerts and the opener blows you away and becomes one of your favorite bands? That happened to me with Big Black Delta opening for Jane's Addiction. That happened to me with Franz Ferdinand opening with What's Their Face's Death Cab. It's happened to me a lot. What are the best concerts? What about, do you guys go do Philharmonic shows, stuff like that? Those are pretty rad, right? Do you go see old folk shows? Like what was the NPR Prairie Home Companion? Did you check some of that? Some of that stuff's kind of rad. I just nerd out myself. Well, I'm okay with it. Yeah, we're going to talk a little about concerts. Maybe we'll talk about it more this year. And with that, I think what I'd like to do now is I'd like to get into a little bit about season 6. What we're going to do. We are starting it off with a band dissection. I found that we usually end up doing that. We are starting it off with Queens of the Stone Age. Now, I decided that before we went and saw Queens of the Stone Age in New Orleans. There are a few reasons I'll get into in those episodes where I want to cover Queens of the Stone Age. A little bit of a surprise for me covering Queens of the Stone Age. Following up Queens of the Stone Age, we're going to do some DL's 10 out of 10s, that being some artists that I think influenced Queens of the Stone Age. We're doing multiple albums with multiple reasons. We're still going to do the quick fires. I'm still going to do a bunch of the happy hours. We're going to do the year dissections still. A lot of the same stuff. And this is kind of where my questions start. We're either super amazing or we don't get very much feedback of, you guys should do more of this. Hey, you guys should do less of this. It seems like people are pretty pleased with what we've decided to do with the dissections, with the reactions, with the this, with the that of the program. You guys seem to be pretty satisfied. And so I don't want to mess with a good thing. But if there is something that you think that we're not doing enough of or something that we should do more of, just let me know and we'll see if we can work it in. One of the things that I know that you guys miss a lot is having guests on, interviews, that sort of thing. But I think most of the time, because I do interact with the people that write in, I think most of you are pretty understanding of why we just don't do that stuff anymore. And that's not saying that we never will. I think season 6 is going to put us back in a comfortable position to where I feel comfortable having people back on occasionally. The first couple seasons we did episodes where we had record collectors, music, we had record collectors on to talk about records, talk about their favorite records and what they like about collecting. People that listen to pods like this, why do you listen to what is your obsession with music? What is it? And I love episodes like that. This year in vinyl, I think I call it something like that. I would like to get back to doing that. So I'd like to have a couple of you on a year to do that. I also I did like having a listener a year on, that sort of thing, to talk about a favorite album of theirs. That was really, really fun. It is taxing to have people on. It is a whole different level of organization, of gathering. We've had negative experiences with listeners and interviews alike. We've had no-shows. We've had people that we found out afterwards maybe we shouldn't have had on the show. Things like that happen, and they're things that we aren't big enough to justify having to deal with that within ourselves. You know what I mean? We're not... If I was making even a few grand a month from this, then I would be a little bit different. Then I would feel like I would owe it to X to do Y. And it adds an extra something that is a little harder to deal with. Now, 95% of the time that we've had encounters with listeners, that we've had them on or things like that, it's been amazing. I've loved talking about the albums they've chosen. I've loved all of it. So that sort of thing I would like to get back to doing, and maybe we'll get back to doing that this year. I do feel way more comfortable in the pod than I have in a couple of years. So that's a good thing, right? I think it's a good thing. But let me know, the point of that was, let me know what you want more of, what you want less of. If you like what we're doing right now, I know that you guys do. I know that you guys really like the new album studies. With those episodes are always really, really high. And then the obvious ones do tend to get really high. If we're covering a very well-known album, then yeah, you guys are going to listen. But the other thing that we're finding is you guys are kind of listening anyway, right? And I'm not complaining. That's awesome. It seems to be whatever we talk about. That's another thing. We do, because of our ages, we do end up talking a lot about 90s, late 80s. We do talk a lot of the same genres. I fully admit to that. Same genres, a lot of kind of alternative style type stuff. I'm very aware that we do a lot of that. Does that sit well with you? Are you mad that we aren't covering more 60s stuff, more 70s stuff? Do we need to do more Zeppelin era things? Do you like it when we go way back and we do like the old blues singers sort of stuff? We do get a lot of really, really good feedback when we do Ronettes style episodes and things like that, but the listenership is not always as high. I guess that's the big question. What do you guys like? What do you guys want to hear more of? Because we can give you that. Next year is going to be really fun. I already told you Queens of the Stone Age. I don't know, how much do you want me to give you? How much giving away am I giving? Year dissections? Should I give you? I'll tell you one. We're going to do 1989. How about that? How about that year? So you kind of like getting towards the end of the hair metal, Aerosmith at its popular peak, I guess you could say, Pixies, De La Soul, that sort of stuff. We will cover a lot of that. That'll be fun. We are doing at least a couple of those next year. We're going to keep doing the same stuff that you guys love. We're going to keep doing Halloween episodes, and then we'll do our end of year episodes. But other than that, well, there is one band dissection that I'm doing by myself next year. And you know why? Because I want to do it. And neither of them will want to. But I think most of you listeners will be very happy that I'm doing it. As far as something like, do you like, we did the deep dissection of Nine Inch Nails, which is a really hard one because it's a lot of albums. What do you feel about that? Do you feel that we're just scratching too much surface with these? Or do you think it's the right amount? Do you is it one of those, look, if I wanted 3 episodes on Nine Inch Nails, I go to a Nine Inch Nails podcast? Or how's the balance? How's the balance going for you guys? I guess that's all I'm asking. And then maybe the era one is the good one too. Do you want a little more Rush and a little less Nin? You know what I mean? You want a little more 70s, a little less 90s. What are you feeling now? And then we also do the look back now. We're going to do the 5-year look backs. This is yet another question for you guys. I guess this is just really born to be another question for you guys episode. But the other big question is, do you like the going back thing? You know, the first episode that we ever did, episode number 1, season number 1, is on Kid A and Talking Book. Should we be done with Kid A and Talking Book? You know, look, do you guys get mad? There are a billion albums out there. Why are you guys talking about? You guys are gonna re-go to Talking Book? Like, what are you doing? But for me, it'd be kind of fun. You know, Sven and I did that episode. I didn't get to hear Rachel shit on Kid A or Evil discover Talking Book. That stuff is fun to me. So I don't know. Is that the sort of thing that, look, you covered it, let it go? Or is it one of those things that maybe we got some bad feedback, we got to go back? It's kind of like look, I make cocktails, right? And when I first started making cocktails, first year in, all I did was I made whiskey sours. And I thought that I was really good at whiskey sours because I did it for a straight year. And if you're talking to today the me from 10 years later, 9 years later, that dude did not know how to make a real whiskey sour. Now I know how to make a whiskey sour. There's kind of a little bit of that with the pod. You know, maybe the dude that covered Kid A, the dude now could cover Kid A much better than the dude did then. Maybe I'm worse. I don't know. I was probably way more technical back then because I, cared. Yeah. Do you like the going back and seeing what was silly, what was not silly? Do you like? Just tell me what you like. Tell me what you want. What you really, really want. I also want to know a little bit about this is really hard. You guys should just be all here talking to me. But how did you feel about 2025? I'll tell you what the big thing for 2025 was for me. There is a shit ton of albums that I want on records. That's the big thing that I've noticed for 2025. Even the ones that, like, is Wolf Alice in my top 10 of the year, maybe. I want that record. Is Wet Leg on my top 10 of the year? Maybe. Big maybe. But I would love to own that record. That's what I'm finding. That Tyler Childers has grown on me. It keeps growing. I would totally buy that. That would be my biggest takeaway from 2025. Is there were the Rosalias and the Billy Woods. There was the art stuff. There was the amazing albums that just fit the time in, like The Last Dinner Party and Viagra Boys and stuff like that. And then there was just a lot of good, solid, like 7 out of 10 albums. And that was my theme for See It. What a perfect way to end the preseason for 6 out of season 5. That was my year of learning that there's nothing wrong with a good 7 out of 10 album. In fact, if you would just go in hoping for a good 7 out of 10 album and hoping that it's something you can kind of sink your teeth into and enjoy. Hey, if it ends up being the greatest steak you ever tasted in your life, great. If it ends up being a 10 out of 10, hey, amazing. But if you don't go in and expect every single thing to be a 10 out of 10 and hope that everything's going to be a 10 out of 10 and wonder why they didn't shoot for being a 10 out of 10, then you're going to have a lot more fun. Maybe that's been the theme this year, is just learning how to make the pod 99.5% fun. Even, look, when we did the finale this year in New Orleans, it was, in certain aspects, it was a catastrophe. Our whole finale the audio was completely fucked, and we didn't know it until the very end. That's why we had to re-record it. We recorded the whole thing in a hotel room. I spent half a day setting it up. It looked good. It didn't look great. It looked fine, but we didn't care because we just wanted to do it in person. The audio was fucked. And then when I tried to do the reaction video, in New Orleans too. The audio was fucked again. It had nothing to do. It just had to do with certain equipment, and the levels looked fine. Everything looked fine. It wasn't until checking it at the end, and the answer is yes to every question you're thinking. Did you check the audio first? Yes, of course. We checked each person's individual audio first. Did we have backup audio? Yes, of course we had backup audio. It was something as simple. It was just a simple issue that ended up happening. I think Rachel said it in the finale is, with technology, with sound, a lot of you have been in bands, a lot of you have done engineering, things like that. You know this. Something can work 99 times and then suddenly the one time it just doesn't work. And that's kind of what happened. Moral of the story is that stuff like that for me as a person completely breaks me. It makes me not give up is the wrong word, but it does make me question my priorities and why I am giving so much to a certain thing that maybe isn't giving back without stopping to think about what it actually is giving back. Does that make any sense at all? Could it, me a year ago, 2 years ago, 2 years in the pod, 3 years in the pod would have been completely devastated. While me last year said, hey, I still went to New Orleans and partied with Rachel and Evil. We ate fucking amazing food. We went and saw Queens of the Stone Age in NOLA last night of their of course. Why would I not love doing it still? Why would I let that ruin so it didn't ruin it. We're better for it. And now I have a more expensive, better Focusrite. Well, it's not really a lesson learned. It's not my fault that my Focusrite fucking broke in the middle of recording in New Orleans, but them's the breaks. I think the really big thing that I've realized this year is the pod is just going to be this amount of people listening, maybe a bit more as the years go on, maybe not. I don't think that it would be anything more than that until the day that I convince Evil to move Washington near me. Do I think that that's completely impossible? It's Lloyd Christmases, so you're saying there's a chance. Evil's a stubborn man that has never lived outside of Idaho, and I don't see it ever happening. I don't know that he'd love the people here either. But if I could talk him into it, because there's something about live episodes, live as in being together in the room for the video recording and the audio. It just hits a little different. And we've gotten extremely used to recording over streaming, which, after 5 years, you're completely used to the delay and the buffering and all that sort of stuff. And then you get together for the live episodes and it's uncomfortable for the first 10, 15 minutes, and then it's off. If we ever get to the point where we can do a lot more in-person episodes, then I think that you're going to see more from us. That's what I would say. And yeah, that's what you're looking at for season 6. What did you think of my top 5 of the year? What did you think of, and the tops of the pods too? I mean, I didn't see a lot of people with Lux, but I did see, are you guys sleeping on Rosalia? What's the deal? Is it not exciting enough for you? A lot of reviews are, here's my thing about that Rosalia album is I don't understand how you can listen to it and give it a 7 out of 10. A 6 out of 10. I don't understand that. You're going to have to help me with that. That's fucking weird to me. Viagra Boys, I get it. It's either your thing or not your thing. But like I said, I've seen them a lot on the end of the year stuff. I think a lot of people really like that album. I've seen a lot more positive stuff for the second Last Dinner Party as well, which we all know I've been a huge advocate for this entire year. And I'm going to keep being an advocate for. But that did seem to get a lot more people put that one through its paces in a positive light more. Let's see. Tune Day, I didn't see that anywhere, but I knew that was going to happen. The TV on the radio is not, it's one of the lesser popular bands to come out of that post-punk New York thing, which I don't get because they were one of the better ones. But yeah, not a lot of people I don't think knew about that album or cared about that album. It's a little nuts, you guys. It's a great album. And then the big one is the Geese one. What are you... I know it's pretty 50-50. I know a lot of listeners think they're annoying, and then a lot of listeners think they're amazing. But what is it about them that you find amazing or annoying? The obvious stuff is that I think their writing and musicianship is It's unique, it's different, but it is also talented. So you have to tell me what you think about Geese. I would like to know. Inquiring minds want to know. And then I will end it. What I'm going to end this episode, well, not what I'm going to end it with. What I'm going to end it with is you're going to hear a little bit of a sound effect, and then you're going to go to Evil Night. But I'm just going to let you know what I've been listening to on my holiday vacation since the finale. What have I been listening to? And honestly, I say it every year. I've been listening to not much. I've been listening to a lot of vinyl. And when I say nothing that had to do with the pod this year, my end of year stuff I've been listening to. I've been listening to that Geese one. Listening to that Geese album quite a bit. And Tune Day. I've been listening to both of those quite a bit. So the ones that were lower, I've been listening to more on vinyl. I've been listening to a lot. Well, I'm a Christmas music guy now. I really am. So Nat King Cole. I have always this isn't a weird one for me. The only Christmas music that I would consistently listen to would be obviously the Peanuts Christmas album. Obviously that. It's one of the greatest albums of all time, and if you don't listen to it 20 times during Christmas, you're weird. I love the Snowman score. Not Frosty the Snowman, the Snowman. And then I usually just put on non-vocal jazz Christmas music, calm piano, forward, upright bass stuff. But every year I've been adding to the collection. Every year I do have to admit that there's good. I'm just getting old, I guess. But first it was the Phil Spector album. That's half Ronnie Spector, you know what I mean? But the Phil Spector Christmas with all that old 60s super loud Ronette style Sleigh Bells Ring, Are You Listening stuff, that's super great. I finally bought the Dave Brubeck Christmas album this year. That is, if you're looking for super calm, super minimal, just like lounge at night with a calm fire, man, that's really good. But Nat King Cole is one of the best to ever do it. One of my, someday if I had an episode arguing about who my favorite voice was of all time, top 5, Nat King Cole, I'd have to work Nat King Cole in there, or at least talk about him for quite a while. I love Nat King Cole's voice and the way that he presented stuff. I have his Christmas album now too, and his Christmas album is immaculate. So anyway, I am listening to much more Christmas music. There's also the obvious ones. I'm not a huge Bing Crosby one, which I know that's blasphemy. The Bing Crosby, Frank kind of swinger, singer, Vegas lounge stuff doesn't hit me in Christmas like it does a lot of people. Bing Crosby, like White Christmas and that stuff, I can take that or leave it, to be honest. Especially the movie. I don't care about the movie. What are the best Christmas movies? There you go. What are the best Christmas movies? I kind of do the more Christmassy, the later on in the month. So we always start with Home Alone. Home Alone's it's a great movie. It's an awesome movie, but there's no spirit of Christmas shit in there, that sort of thing. You know what I mean? It's just funny, and the kids like it because it's people getting the shit beat out of them. But there's the Home Alones, the Grinch. The Grinch is great. I'm kind of blanking on the other ones, but the real ones. I love the old black and white Miracle on 34th Street. That movie's freaking awesome. Christmas Vacation. I watched that on Christmas Eve. Christmas Day. I always watch The Christmas Story. You'll shoot your eye out. That's amazing. But It's a Wonderful Life is the best movie. It's the best Christmas movie, right? I guess we'll have to have an episode about this. Maybe that's an episode we'll do this upcoming year. I'll make them do with me in December. Sorry, guys, we're going to have to do a 2-parter, top 5 Christmas albums, top 5 Christmas movies. Maybe that's what we'll do. But other than Christmas, lots of old, I've gotten really into the Billie Holiday again, and I'm kind of getting back into my jazz roots a little bit. It's good. Coleman and Fitzgerald and Gillespie. I've been listening to a lot of jazz. I think I think I need to really start playing again. And I don't have time, but I need to do the thing where I set a specific amount of time aside for myself and play. Like, do you guys still do that? Are we too old to do that? Or do you force yourself to do that? I know a lot of you still make music and write music, and I tried really hard to do that in the first few years of the pod, but it's just getting so hard. That's what she said. I need to. And then I read a lot too. I'm so proud of myself for reading over the last 2 weeks, but I've read a lot of the outdoorsy books. I reread White Fang, which you can make fun of me all you want. That book's incredible. Movie? Is it a movie? Did they ever make a White Fang movie? I feel like that'd be difficult. And then I got done with it. I just got done with another book that is about a guy that, quote unquote, watched a salmon egg stream through 7 months of winter in the Montana, like next to the Idaho-Montana border. He's just this college kid that had always wanted to be a mountain man, but wasn't, and took this job being alone by himself for 7 months in this snow-capped fucking Montana wilderness. And really good. Something about Indian Creek, I think. I don't know. Sorry. I guess I'm bad at this. But I've been reading. You know? Aren't you proud of me? Reading and listening to music. What's the high fidelity thing? You call it shallow, but these are the things that matter. That's it for the preseason. You're gonna skip ahead and you're gonna listen to Evil and I talk about Queens of the Stone Age a little more, and then you're gonna join us next week. And we're going to talk about even more Queens of the Stone Age because we're going to do a dissection. That's right. 2 episodes on the story of Queens of the Stone Age. We're going to rank our favorite We're going to rank all their albums from worst to best. We're going to tell you what our favorite songs of theirs are. All that sort of good stuff. Season 6. It's on its way. We're glad that we're here and we're not going anywhere. Love you. Good night and good luck. Okay. Evil.
Yes, sir.
I brought you here tonight. I brought you here tonight to talk about the Yvette Patton album.
Right.
But I'm cheating, and I'm keeping you tonight because we need to talk about a concert that we went to together. Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah. So I'll tell the story, and then you can give first thoughts on the concert.
Yeah, I'll sprinkle some...
Yeah, the amount of
color commentary
involved was fucking crazy.
So play by play, and I'll do the color commentary.
So we're in NOLA. We're recording stuff for the finale.
Yeah.
And it is last day before we leave. I'm in the elevator of the hotel going downstairs, and a woman is sitting there, standing there. I'm in a Depeche Mode Violator shirt.
Yeah. We're mustering in the lobby to go to the Sazerac house.
To go to the Sazerac house. That's right. Yes. And it's, what is it, noon? 2?
Yeah. It was early afternoon.
Yeah. She says, "Oh, I love that shirt." I'm like, "Thank you. Thanks." And we talked for 2 seconds. She's like, "You must be going to the concert tonight." Like, "Oh, Depeche Mode's in town." Like, "Nah, I saw them a long time ago and they were old then. So I don't really need to see them now." And she's like, "No, Queens of the Stone Age."
Like, what? Record scratch? Like,
yes. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? She's like, "Yeah, Queens of the Stone Age is here tonight." So I get off the elevator. I walk right to Rachel and Evil and I go, "Hey, Queens of the Stone Age are fucking here tonight." And we all, how long do we stand there before you're like, "Well, we can't, we have to go"?
Yeah. At the, what is it?
Maybe?
The Sanger Theater?
I don't remember the name of it at all.
Yeah, I remember because that theater was fucking amazing. Spoiler alert, we got tickets.
Yeah, so it took us about 5 seconds, and we were like, "I don't think we have a choice. I think we have to fucking go."
We're executive decision. We're changing plans and going to see Queens of the Stone Age this evening.
So we go to dinner. Where did we go to dinner that night? I don't even remember. Because all I remember is the concert.
Oh, dude. We went to the fucking tiki bar.
Oh, my God. Yeah. Fucking...
Whole different story. Side quest.
We go to this tiki bar in New Orleans, and we go to this tiki bar in New Orleans, which is one of the best places I've ever been. Drinks and food.
Yes. Which was tipped off to us by our buddy at the Sazerac house who taught us how to make... bitters and sodas.
Beach Bum Berries Latitude 29.
Dude.
That's what it was.
Fucking amazing.
There wasn't a bite of food or a drink that wasn't a fucking 10 out of 10.
Right.
Crazy.
And it was a tiki bar decked out for Christmas. The most kitschy, awesome, gaudy Christmas decor you could imagine. It was amazing.
So we have a perfect dinner. This is after we went to the Sazerac house and did a Sazerac tasting where they teach you how to make a Sazerac and give you like little
history lesson. And
it was great. It was awesome. And we get to the Queens of the Stone Age concert, and it's not what. Here's what I'll say. It's in a theater.
Yes.
Which you're not really thinking for Queens of the Stone Age. And it kind of, as the days progressing, I'm remembering that they did the whole Paris catacombs thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I hadn't really put together what that was, and I had no idea that they were touring right. I thought that the catacombs tour was a literal, like they were going to, in Europe, places with catacombs and stuff. I didn't think that we were going to... Did you have any idea what... Oh, that's what I'll ask you. Did you have any idea what you were walking into?
I had no idea what we were going to see. No clue.
I've thought about this for a while now. The only thing that I can think of to compare the feeling of what realizing what was happening as it was happening, there were people that had never seen a found footage film or had heard anything about Blair Witch when they went into the theater, and it fucked them up.
Oh, yeah.
That's the only thing that I can akin this to, really. Because you go to the Queens of the Stone Age, you're expecting like one of the coolest
rock shows you're ever going to see. No. I am not kidding. I knew probably halfway through that it was probably the best concert that I was ever going to see in my life. And it's pretty goddamn good.
I remember like song 2. It sounds cheesy, but I started getting emotional because I was like, I don't know that I'm ever going to see anything like this.
We're never going to see anything like that again.
No.
So
what are give me your just your thoughts of when it was starting, when you realized what it was you were witnessing. Like, give me some thoughts on it.
So to set the stage, like literally, this was like a 3-act theatrical performance.
Yeah.
So it starts with just like Josh out in front of a curtain on stage, like bare stage with strings, holding a fucking bare light, like a
construction light.
Yeah. Doing not an unplugged, but kind of an unplugged performance with strings and and so that progressed for a while. Like there was movement in that part of the show.
Mm-hmm.
And band members come out. There's additional musicians, which we can talk about, like that come out and add to the performance. But it's like bare stage, strings, it's very New Orleans. Like it's just very New Orleans. Which here's the thing: this was the last stop of the tour, and they specifically chose to end the tour in NOLA, probably at that theater, because it's the perfect place for that performance.
We're halfway through the performance, and he starts in. He's like, we want to thank you so much for joining us. We wanted to end it in New Orleans, and we all looked at each other like, wait,
what?
Wait, what? So not only are we walking into this insane show, which just to be in a theater like that, a 3 mezzanine theater, and the fucking sound quality of that concert,
oh my gosh!
As he said, it progresses. It starts simple. It starts with acoustic guitars and like harmonophones and fucking and it progresses into a little bit of rock.
Well, like eventually the curtain comes up and there's like an orchestra back there.
Yeah.
Like
And like a 10-piece orchestra.
Yeah. And Josh still doesn't have a guitar on. Like,
no.
The first 2 acts, he's not playing guitar. Like, a guitar-driven rock band is doing a performance where
How many songs, 2, 3, that he actually had a guitar on?
Well, it was towards the end where...
Did he the whole time?
The kind of like maybe the last third, I would say, is where he actually put a guitar on, and they did the more heavier stuff at that point.
Okay, see, it's all a blur for me.
But yeah, so like, I mean, he's like going out into the audience and and doing some like he's got like a meat cleaver that he's throwing into the ground.
Not like a meat cleaver.
He has got a meat cleaver. It's sharp enough to where...
in the back of your head, since we're in the mezzanine, we're thinking the whole time, like, well, that's not real. It's not real. He's like playing with it in the audience.
Throws it at the ground and it sticks in the fucking stage multiple times.
And you're like, oh, okay, so it's real. Okay.
Yes, very real.
He's walking down the aisles of people just kind of like waving it around.
Into the rows. Like, a guy like stands up in front of him and he like pushes him and he's like, sit the fuck down. Like, it's crazy. We found footage of that from people in the audience. On like Instagram reels of the close up of him doing that. Yeah.
The guy like gets up on him and he shoves him down, and he's just walking around with meat cleaver.
Dude.
Yeah.
Climbing up on the side of the stage into like the theater was beautiful. Oh my!
The ceiling had kind of stars in it and stuff. It was crazy.
It was nuts. It was nuts.
But it just, even half the songs that they played that I know, I didn't really. I will say this. Okay, so more spoilers. Here's an even crazier thing. 3-4 days before, I gave Rachel and Evil the schedule for season 6.
Yeah, right.
We are opening season 6 with a dissection of Queens of the Stone Age.
Yeah.
This is before
way before
we knew this concert existed or we were going to go or anything. So it was like this whole fucking thing.
Kismet.
But some of these songs, I cannot imagine. That's not the right wording. Some of these songs, it feels like this was how they were meant to be played.
Yes. Yeah. The arrangements it just was so perfect and conducive to the feeling of the songs.
Did you watch the actual Paris Catacomb concert?
I'm working through it. I haven't watched the entire thing, but yeah.
Oh my God.
I almost bought the album yesterday.
I may or may not have it. It's so fucking good. And I am so glad that I did not watch it or really think about it before we saw it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So final thoughts on Queens of the Stone Age in New Orleans doing a fucking weird stripped down version of their songs?
There are it's like in the upper echelon of shows that I got to experience with a group of people that will never ever happen again.
Yeah.
Like, one of them was like in 1996 on my birthday, September 10th, Rage Against the Machine performed inside of the old Idaho State Penitentiary.
I was there.
That was a show that there was never anything like that before. And
it's
never going to happen again.
Never will be again.
No. And I get that this was a whole tour, but we saw them in the city that they wanted to end this in. Like,
we saw them in fucking NOLA. NOLA,
yes.
If you listeners that have been to New Orleans, you know it's fucking different. It's just different there.
Yeah.
And it was weird because I had read things about, he seemed fucked up out of his gourd in the concert.
Yeah.
I read things that he's sober. I have a really hard time.
He was doing shots.
He was doing shots. And he did spit one out, but he was like, no, I'll do him. I don't think he was acting. I think he was fucked up, but it was really funny.
It felt like he was on like shrooms or something, like something not like.
Well, It could have been an act, and it was hilarious, but it was still fucking hilarious. But the first time he starts walking through the crowd with his cleaver, he start saying something about he doesn't even remember how much shrooms he did tonight, and he's like waving a cleaver,
fucking cleaver around. Like, what the?
It did. It's like it's that it's the last spot on the tour, but it added this weird, awesome tension.
Yeah, like what's gonna happen? Like, is this are the wheels gonna fall off the bus? Maybe.
Yeah.
Like what?
Hey, last show we know that he just got done with cancer. He got a divorce. He's got a cleaver. Who the fuck knows what's gonna happen?
And so we talked about this a little bit, but here's the crazy thing: is when the curtain comes up, and there had been some strings and stuff that were played before that. This orchestra had never played with them live before. Like these were local
musicians,
New Orleans musicians who knows how much time they had to prep to get ready for it. And they may have rehearsed a little bit earlier in the day, but this was their first live performance of this show, and it was fucking amazing.
It was immaculate.
Ugh.
It was so fucking well done, and not just the drama and the whatever the word that I'm not thinking of, not just that part of it, not just the showmanship. Yeah. Seriously, I could not want a better sound quality of a concert.
Oh my God, I thought those were musicians that had been on this tour the entire time.
Me too. How the
it was
fuck,
seamless.
Seamless is a perfect word for it. It was perfect. Go if you guys haven't seen that fucking Alive in the Catacombs. It's only like 27 minutes long. It's only like 4 songs. Oh my God, you have to watch it. It's so good.
Yeah, we got a whole almost 2-hour version of that.
Yeah, we won. We won for sure.
Yeah, bonus. I think because we had technical difficulties recording stuff in NOLA, and
1 or 2.
When we were at that show, we realized we went to New Orleans to see Queens of the Stone Age. We just didn't know it until a few hours before the show.
Yeah, everything worked out in the end. But no, that's totally right. Like it was a blast, and we ate a bunch of good food, and we had great drinks. But we all know what the fucking prize of that trip is.
Oh, yes, 1,000%.
Queens of the Stone Age.
Oh my God, I'm looking forward to the episode.
Me too.
I may have got a couple albums of theirs that I didn't have already.